Lymphatic system. What is lymphatic system? It is a series of vessels and nodes that collect and filter excess tissue fluid called lymph before returning it to the venous circulation. Lymphatic system is a series of vessels and nodes. What these vessels and nodes do? They collect and filter excess tissue fluid. This excess tissue fluid is called a lymph. Then it is returned to the venous circulation. Then it is made up of, the lymphatic system is made up of lymphatic vessels, lymphatic or lymphoid organs and lymphoid tissues. So it is a network of lymphatic vessel, lymphoid organ and lymphoid tissue. It forms a vital part of the body's immune defense. Coming to the different structures involved in lymphatic system. We have already seen that it is a network consisting of lymphoid organ, lymphoid vessel and lymphatic tissues. Let us see first about lymphoid organ. There are a number of organs that contain lymphatic tissue. So lymphatic organ means the vessels with the organs which contain lymphatic tissues. They are involved in filtering and maturation of lymphocytes. The function of lymphoid organ is filtering and maturation of lymphocytes. The main lymphatic organ or lymph organ in body are spleen, thymus and red bone marrow. In addition to this, lymphatic tissue is located in tonsils, appendix and in the walls of the gastrointestinal tract. Here you can see the various lymphoid organ or lymph organ, adenoid, tonsil, spleen, thymus here and the red bone marrow. Important lymph organs. In addition to this, there is appendix and the walls of the gastrointestinal tract. Coming to the lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are kidney-shaped structures. From this picture itself, you can note that they are bean-shaped or kidney-shaped structures. They act to filter foreign particles from the blood. And as we have seen already, they have an important role in the immune response. Then, how many lymph nodes in the human body? An adult human being has around 400 to 450 different lymph nodes throughout the body. Majority of these nodes are located in the abdomen. What are the contents of this node? Each lymph node contains T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and macrophages, also plasma cells. Here you can see densely packed B and T cells, macrophages and plasma cells. They are exposed to the fluid as it passes through the node and can mount an immune response if they detect pathogen. When the lymph passes through the lymph node, if they see any pathogen, they mount an immune response. Then the lymph enters the lymph node through a channel called a afferent lymphatic channel. This is the afferent lymphatic channel through the channels by which the lymph enters the lymph node. Then they leave the node via efferent channels. Here you can see efferent channels. The lymph enters the lymph node through afferent channels and leave the lymph nodes through efferent channels. Let us see about the structure of lymph node. As we have seen already, lymph nodes are kidney or oval shaped. Its size ranges from 0.1 cm to 2.5 cm in length. Then it is surrounded by a fibrous capsule. You can see the picture, this is the fibrous capsule. Then the fibrous capsule extends into the lymph substance of the lymph node. This extension is called trabeculae. The entire substance of the lymph node is again divided into cortex and medulla. Then there is a place called a hilus. It is concave in shape. So from the hilus, the efferent lymphatic vessels leave the lymph node and blood vessels like artery and vein enter the lymph node and leave the lymph node. There is a capsule called a fibrous capsule. It extends into the substance of the lymph node called a tubercle. Then there is a cortex. Then there is medulla. And below the cortex you can see paracortex also. There is a portion called a hilus which is concave in shape. From the hilus, different vessels emerge the lymph node. Arteries and veins enter and leave the lymph node. This is in brief about the different portions of a lymph node. Then we can see how the lymph flow through the lymph node. It enters the fibrous capsule through channels called afferent channels. It enters the fibrous capsule through the channels called afferent channels. After entering into the fibrous capsule, it passes through a series of sinuses. The first sinus is called, this is the subscapular sinus. After passing through the subscapular sinus, it enters the cortical sinus. After passing through or after leaving the cortical sinus, it lastly enters the medullary sinus, where it is collected together and leave the lymph node through efferent channels. So it enters the afferent channels. Lymph enters the lymph node through afferent channel. It passes through subscapular sinus, then cortical sinus, medullary sinus. All these sinuses unite together to form efferent lymphatic channel where it is escaping or leaving the lymph node at the hilus. The lymph node is kidney and oval shaped, size 0.1 centimeter to 2.5 centimeter. It has a fibrous capsule. Fibrous capsule extends into the lymph node that is called trabeculae. Then it has a cortex outer side and it has inner medulla. Then there is a concave surface that is called a hilum where lymphatic vessels leave and blood vessels enter and leave. The flow of lymph, it enters through afferent vessels, it passes through subscapular sinus, then it enters the cortical sinus, and finally it reaches medullary sinus where all the medullary sinus united together and form efferent lymphatic channel where it leaves the lymph vessels. So we are seeing the network of lymphatic system. First we have seen about lymphoid organ, next we have seen about lymph nodes, and now we will see about the lymph vessels. Lymph vessels transport lymph fluid around the body. What the lymph vessels do? They transport lymph vessels around the body. There are two main systems of lymph vessels. They are superficial and deep. The superficial vessels arise in the subcutaneous tissue. It tend to accompany venous flow. Superficial lymph vessels are seen in subcutaneous tissue. They follow the direction of venous flow. Finally, they unite or drain into the deep vessels. The deep vessels drain the deeper structures of the body, such as internal organs. They accompany deep arteries. Superficial vessels accompany veins and deep vessels accompany arteries. Superficial vessels finally drain into deep vessels. Then, these deep vessels empty into lymphatic trunk. These deep vessels empty into lymphatic trunk. All the lymphatic trunk eventually converge to form a right lymphatic duct and a thoracic duct. So we have superficial vessel that unite with the deep vessel. Deep vessel unite to form lymphatic trunk. Lymphatic trunk converge to form two large ducts called a right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. The right lymphatic duct is responsible for draining the lymph from the upper right quadrant of the body. In the picture you can see the part drained by the right lymphatic tract. What is given in violet color? The right side of the head and neck, the right side of chest thoracic cavity, and the right upper limb is drained by right lymphatic duct. Then the right lymphatic duct joins with the right subclavian at a right angle. The right lymphatic duct joining the right side of the body and joins with the right subclavian vein. Then about the thoracic duct, the remaining part of the body is given in light yellow color. The remaining part of the body, both the upper limb, abdominal cavity, left thorax, left upper limb and left side of the head and neck is drained by thoracic duct. It ultimately drain into left subclavian vein. Left subclavian vein drain left side of the body, abdominal cavity and both the lower limb. Joins with the left subclavian. Right subclavian drains right upper limb, right thoracic cavity and right side of head and neck. Together form lymphatic duct that drain into right subclavian. That is about the lymph vessels. Superficial vessel, deep vessels, right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. Coming to the structure of lymphatic vessels. Earlier we have seen in detail the structure of veins and arteries. So the lymphatic vessels are similar in structure to that of vein. Veins and the lymphatic vessels have similar structure, same tunicas as veins, but it has thinner walls. They contain many valves. Because of the presence of valves, it has a beaded appearance. You can see here. This is the bead, one bead, two bead, three bead, like that. The vein have the lymph vessels has beaded appearance because of the presence of many valves. Then lymph nodes are present at intervals. The opening between endothelial cells. The innermost layer endothelial cells allow high permeability to large substances. The endothelial cells, this is the endothelial cell, it has large opening, it allows high permeability of large cells. So, the structure of lymphatic vessel is similar to that of vein, but it is thin walled. It has many valves. It gives beaded appearance. Lymph nodes are present at certain interval. Small opening between endothelial cells. The innermost layer allow high permeability to large substances. Here you can see the relationship of lymph channels or lymph capillaries with the capillary bed. This is the arterial side of capillary bed. This is the venous side of capillary bed. This green colored is the lymph channel. So this is the tissue cells. The excess fluid in the tissue cells are collected by the lymph channels. Here you can see what is lymph. It is a translucent fluid. It is transparent and yellow in color. In the previous slide we have seen that when the excess fluid leaves the capillary bed in the tissues, that is collected by lymph channels and that is called a lymph. It is roughly around 10% of blood volume. An average adult produces 3 to 4 liters of lymphatic fluid each day, but can vary in illness. So lymph is a translucent fluid. It is formed when fluid leaves the capillary bed in tissues due to hydrostatic pressure. It is about 10% of blood volume, that is 3 to 4 liters of lymphatic fluid in a day. What are the contents or composition of lymph? 96% water and 4% solid. Out of this 4% solid, protein 2 to 6%, lipid 5 to 15%, carbohydrate 132 milligram per 100 ml, non-protein nitrogenous substances like urea, creatinine, Electrolytes like sodium, calcium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate and cellular content mainly lymphocytes. So the solid part of lymph contain protein, lipid, carbohydrate, non-protein nitrogenous substances, electrolytes and cellular content like lymphocytes. Lastly, about the clinical relevance of lymphatic system. Some abnormality of lymphatic system include enlarged lymph nodes. That condition is called a lymphadenopathy. Then there is something called a lymphedema. It's a swelling caused by accumulation of lymph. Then there is a cancer of the lymphatic system. That is called a lymphoma. The lymphatic system, because of its closeness to many tissues of the body, it is responsible for carrying cancerous cells between various parts of the body. That is called a metastasis. The lymphatic tissue is closely associated with the various tissues of the body. So, the cancerous cells in any part of the body are carried easily to the different parts of the body. That is called a metastasis. The spread of cancerous cells from one part to the other part is called a metastasis. Lymphatic system have an important role in metastasis. The cancer of lymphatic system is called a lymphoma. It is tumors arising from the lymphatic cells. Enlarged lymph nodes are called lymphadenopathy. Swelling of the lymph nodes is called lymphedema, and the cancer of the lymph node is called or tumors of the lymph node is called lymphoma. And the lymphatic system have a great role in metastasis. That is in brief about lymphatic system, including lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes, and the lymphatic organs. Thanks for your patient listening.